Yes.
I think that's the right thing.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to call tonight's meeting of the Library Board of Trustees to order, September 15th, 2020. We do have a quorum. The only two members that I don't believe are going to be able to attend are Matt Calkins and Sarah. Sarah Gonzalez, I didn't hear from either. We're also going to switch up the agenda a little bit to accommodate Mark's schedule this evening. If you'd like to go ahead and get started with the finance report.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you. This should be the last time I have a conflict with soccer. We usually go indoors. I doubt it's happening. Yeah, I wrote up the finance report a little past when we had our, supposed to have our meeting in August. We haven't had any new financial numbers from Erica, so it's basically a review of July. And if you guys had an opportunity to look at it or not, a couple of the highlights were, overall expenses and income were down. There was a big increase for grants due to Courtney writing grants, so great job for her and for the library and the community. And we also applied for, the end of July, a PPP loan. Basically, that's a loan where it helps us recoup our payroll expenses. We were paying our staff throughout the whole entire outbreak, and obviously our income and potentially some tax revenue, if not now, but in future years might be down. So I think it was wise to go for it. And then we're going to be writing up our forgiveness for it. I think Courtney has all the paperwork for that, and that's due October 31st. So that should be okay. And the other highlight, I don't have it in front of me, but I noted it there. There was some bonds that Meredith purchased for us. So I guess we had some cash that needed to be moved around. So that was it for the financial report, and I was able to review the statements. So if I could get a motion to approve the finance report.
I'll approve.
I'll second.
Second, Cecilia. Okay.
That was Cecilia?
Yep.
Yep.
And then,
go ahead.
oh yeah. No, if you had any questions about it, sorry, I didn't open it up to you guys.
I didn't have any questions, no.
Okay.
No questions.
All right. Then for the bills, Courtney's been sending them to all of us. So I just, kind of recycled the last four periods for us, just for us to review and approve there again. Everything seemed like regular bills. There was no large expenses. The biggest number there is usually our MVP healthcare. And then I think we did our annual Otis payment as well. So if I could get a motion to approve the last four bills. I don't have the dates in front of me if anyone wants
to. July 23rd, August 6th, August 20th, and September 3rd.
Okay. So if I could have make a motion to approve those bills.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
Great. All right.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Michael,
thank you.
Okay. And did you still have enough quorum to continue from here if I
yes,
jump off?
Hi, Sarah. Sarah's joined, so we are good to go.
All right.
Thank you so much, Mark.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mark. Have fun.
Thank you. All right. You too. Bye.
Great. Okay. So we also have two past meeting minutes that we need to approve at this meeting. The June 16th and July 21st meeting minutes. Does anybody have any comments or questions on the minutes? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the June 16th and the July 21st meeting minutes?
I'll motion.
Okay, that's Elizabeth. Is there a second?
Oh, come on.
I'll do it, of course, Cecilia. I
Cecilia
second.
seconded. Okay, great. All in
Can I
favor?
vote since I
Everyone
wrote
was like
them?
waiting.
Sure, yeah.
I
Okay,
can.
any opposed? No. Okay, great. So we passed the meeting minutes. It doesn't look like we have any guests, public or employee visitors today. We were going to have two of the friends attend, but they couldn't make it tonight, so they're going to probably attend our next meeting. For the president's report, I don't have a lot, just a couple of reminders. Courtney sent around the information that we're required to attend sexual harassment training. I think everybody should have received that email. So there are 2 videos that we should watch, and then we need to return the form that she attached, return that to her by September 30th.
Since we have to do it for our school, like, do we have to watch it twice, or can that be somehow? I'm like, I don't want to do that again.
I don't know, are they the same videos?
Oh
Are they
yeah,
the exact same videos?
I would think it's the same because it's New York
Well,
State.
as long as you've watched the videos and then you just return the form to Courtney.
Okay, I was like, oh my gosh, sitting through that twice.
And then also, I think we might have some, the annual board disclosure forms. I think there might be some outstanding. I can resend that to everybody, but we do have to do those on an annual basis. So I'm gonna send those around again to everyone to complete and then send into the library or return them to me for our files. I guess that's all I have. And I'm going to turn it over to Courtney for her report.
All right. So I have a couple of things, action items that we're going to talk about. But the first thing is that I'd like us to approve sick leave for pages. Right now, all of our part-time staff and full-time staff have sick time, but it's come up that the pages don't, and there's a new law that was just passed by New York State saying that all part-time staff has to have sick leave for their employees. I'd also like to approve the hiring of Grace McCormack as our new clerk. She has worked with us as a page since, I believe, 2018, and she is now filling in the clerk hours that we needed. And this was her second day, and she's been great. And the third thing is that I'd like us to approve the annual report to the community. I sent a draft around when I sent out my report on Friday. And once that is approved, I can start with printing, which will be nice. But first, I wanted to talk about just a little reopening update. Generally, overall, I think everybody feels pretty comfortable at where we are in the reopening process. Staff seems to be comfortable. We had a staff meeting at the end of August where we talked about how things are going, and everybody seems to agree that things are going pretty well right now. Since we've reopened in July, we've had over 400 people use our computers, which is pretty cool. And over 180 computer sessions in August alone. We've also seen an increased use of our Wi-Fi, especially with the bad storms that we had come through in August when a lot of people lost internet and electricity. A lot of people have been sitting out on our porch and working, and in July, we had like 271 Wi-Fi connections, and in August, we had almost 600, which was a pretty cool jump to see. So it's nice that we got a lot of positive feedback that we were here when all the bad storms went through, and people could use us for internet and electricity, so that was nice. In terms of COVID-19 updates, we've had some requests for people to use our meeting space, but right now we're not allowing in-person events in the library yet. If the numbers in our area stay low, I'd like to start exploring how we would do in-person programming like late 2020, probably early 2021. But right now, I think there's just way too much uncertainty about what's going to happen as the fall progresses, and I want to make sure that we're being safe. So even though we had some requests to use the meeting space, we're turning people down for now. For building updates, we're still having issues with our AC working in some parts of the building, and I'm working to get a new recommendation for an HVAC person because we really need to get it fixed. We've had our carpets cleaned over Labor Day weekend, and they look really good now. There was a huge stain by the front door that was driving me nuts, and it's gone, so that's an improvement. And I've scheduled the oil burner maintenance appointment for September, which should be good. In terms of collection updates, I've been consistently working on reading the nonfiction section, and I'm in the 500s now, so like almost there. And I've ran a list of items in our system that have never been checked out, and there's over 3,000. So I'm finding a lot of these are like really old nonfiction books that haven't gone out since 1994 type of thing, and nobody's ever thought to run the list to weed them. So those are leaving. They haven't been out in a very long time. Which kind of brings me to my next point, is that our collection is pretty old and really needs to be updated. And I ran a report that said the average publication date of an item in our collection is 1999, which seemed pretty old to me. And kind of in addition with this, I'm concerned with the amount of money that we're budgeting for the collection. I think Mark touched on this a little bit before we started, but I did some research because I was curious. And the 3 libraries in our county that have their budget information online and I could find and are a similar size of us spend a lot more on their collections. So in my report, I sent out a chart that shows our library, our annual income, and our collection development budget compared with Beekman, Pauling, and Pleasant Valley. And you can see the numbers are very different. The closest library to us is Beekman, and right now we're spending $30,000 a year on collection development, and Beacon is spending $52,000. So it's a large difference. So the national average library spend on their collection each year is 11.5% of their annual budget. Right now we're spending $6,000. So if we moved up to the national average, it would allow us to spend a little over $50,000 a year on materials, which is still less than all of our similar neighboring libraries. And right now, our collection development budget comes from 2 sources. It comes from a donation from the Millbrook Tribute Gardens, which is very nice, and a private donor donates the other third of the collection development budget. And it won't be a problem this year, but I'm just thinking in the future, it doesn't seem like the most sustainable way to have our collection development budget function, because if one of those parties decides not to donate, we're either losing 2/3 or 1/3 of our collection development budget, which isn't that big to begin with. So it's something to think about for the future. Like I said, this year I think we'll be okay because of we weren't buying materials during the shutdown and everything like that. But it's definitely something to think about. And the last time our budget was increased was in 2016 when it went from $20,000 to $30,000 due to this private donor. The price of materials has increased since then, and there's a lot of online services that our patrons are asking for, and other libraries are providing their patrons that we're not. Case in point, Hoopla, which everybody voted to sign us up for in the last kind of like email correspondence, which is very exciting. So there's lots of services like that I'd like to provide for our patrons. Like right now, I think over half the libraries in our system have Hoopla, and we weren't offering it. So I'm really excited to be able to offer that to our patrons, and people are asking for it. Actually, the day that I sent in the paperwork to sign us up, I got a call from a patron asking why we didn't have it. So that was great timing. I could be like, hey, guess what? we're getting there. So like I said, the whole collection development thing is just, like I said, I think we'll be okay this year, but it's definitely something to think about as we move forward with funding in the future. So for Hoopla, our tentative live date is September 21st. I have a call on the 17th that's a launch call where we get everything set up. And I really wanted to announce this service in September as part of Library Card Sign Up Month and promote it everywhere. So for those of you who don't know, Hoopla is kind of like Overdrive, where patrons can borrow e-resources like movies, TV shows, ebooks, audiobooks, comics, and music, I believe, are all the formats. And they have a great selection. There's no wait list. Patrons can check things out, and people seem very happy with it. So I'm very excited to introduce that to our patrons. Are there any questions so far?
Well, I think this is a lot of
Uh-huh.
important stuff to think about, and I'm glad that you are. I mean, as you present it, it seems to be to me to make sense to work to increase that budget, and I look forward to hearing other people's thoughts. I know you and Mark were having a discussion a little bit about it before we officially got started. I mean, I think that the one thing that jumps to my mind is to, propose an increase for the 2021 budget, and we can have that discussion as we are creating that budget, which we should approve at the December meeting. Anybody else have any thoughts or questions
Well,
for?
I was just wondering if I mean, and I don't want to put you on the spot now, just to think about, like, do you have ideas, how to, because I know the donors makes a lot of sense, right? To think about if they ever fall away, that, what do we do? Like, maybe you already have ideas or can think of something that, you as being in the trenches all the time, can
In
think
terms of how to get that funding
Mm-hmm.
or make it, well, I think the way to make it the most sustainable and secure is to do a 414 vote for the library budget. That's a ton of work, obviously, and kind of scary to think about, but I think that would definitely be the way to make it the most sustainable going forward for the future. So like I said, not something that we need to think about this year as much, but maybe for next year, 2022 going forward. I think it'll become more of an issue as our budget stays flat and cost of items go up. And I have to say, I've been purchasing books like crazy, responsibly, but I've been buying a lot. And we can't keep them on our new shelf. Like, our new shelf is empty often, which is great. It feels really good to see people are liking what I'm buying and checking it out and stuff. But I feel bad that people come in and we don't have a lot. So I've been trying to pick that up a little bit.
Courtney, I love how much weeding you're doing for starters. Major props from me. That's so important. Clarifying question. So that 30,000 for collection development, is that e-resources as well as hard copy resources all rolled in that?
Yes, yeah. That's
okay.
As far as I believe that is e-resources are print subscriptions like magazines, periodicals, and newspapers, and DVDs, movies, books, audiobooks, everything is in that.
Databases are expensive. That's,
yeah,
I can see why you would want to look at that. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
And I also, like, at the beginning, you had said about the sick days for pages, I think. Is there a certain amount that the law says, like, days that we have to give because they're part-time? Is there something that we have to decide, or is that decided for us?
I actually have more about that a little further down.
Okay, never mind then.
Okay. All right. So for development and grant updates, we got a notice from the Mid-Hudson Library System that to hold off on holding our adult literacy grant program just yet, just because the state funding hasn't been confirmed, and we wanted to make sure that we can be reimbursed for it. So the organization that is holding the financial literacy series that we're having in September and October, they're nice enough to do the first 4 classes for free, which was really nice until we can get approval that we will actually be getting reimbursed for the program. In addition to that, all thank you notes for donations received in 2020 so far have been sent out, excluding the Friends mini golf donations, because I think they're still deciding what to do with that. Just Mid-Hudson Library System updates. Mid-Hudson is adjusting the delivery schedule since there's a lot less physical items that are moving between libraries right now. Circulation is down because of the pandemic. So right now our schedule shouldn't change, but this is something that will be reviewed quarterly going forward. So it's not affecting us right now, but it's just something that we'll have to keep an eye on in the future. And we have submitted the 2020 summer reading report, so that's done. For outreach, we are currently working really hard on reaching out to our schools and homeschooled students to see what we can help them with. Abby Gallagher, our new children's literacy coordinator, has been doing a phenomenal job with this and working with their school librarian, so hopefully some good partnerships can come out of that. I spoke at a Rotary meeting in August and talked about what we've been working on the past few months and our plans from the future, and that seemed to be very well received. Fun thing is we've started a YouTube channel, so you can go on our website and subscribe. We're using it. Abby is recording virtual story times every Thursday, and they're being posted at 11:30, so people can watch them on demand. So people can basically pick and choose which stories they want to listen to, and it's nice because I think a lot of people can't come to programs necessarily because like they're busy or they're just tired of looking at the screen, so it's something that they can choose to do on their time, which is very nice. So we have one up right now. The second one will be going up this Thursday, and our first one has 53 views, I think, last time I checked, which was pretty cool. And then the final thing for outreach is that I've drafted the annual report to the community, and once it's approved, I will move forward with printing it and sending it out. Usually this is something that's supposed to happen in spring, and just with everything that has happened, it's getting done now. So, in terms of personnel, Grace started as our new clerk on Monday, and she's, like I said, she's been working in the library since 2018 as a page and was the perfect fit for this new position. So she's still keeping her page hours and is doing additional clerk hours too. And just as a reminder, this was to fill the hours that Justin had been working before he left. The second thing is the sick leave for pages. So the sick leave law states that we must provide 1 hour of sick leave for every 30 hours worked. The law goes into effect on September 30th, and I was kind of going nuts trying to figure out like the accrual rate and everything, but it turns out right now all of our part-time staff, the accrual rate meets that rate. So all we would have to do is include the pages as part of that part-time staff that receives sick time. So that would, I think, be the simplest way to do it, so we don't have to mess around with accrual rates or anything like that. And this will affect Olivia and Rebecca. But I think it would be an important thing to do, one, because of the New York State law, and two, I think in the time of COVID, we've all kind of realized that sick leave is really important. So are there any questions on that? Okay. So my programming update is super exciting because we've been working really hard on our programs for September and October. We had 6 children's programs scheduled, 2 teen programs scheduled, and 6 adult programs scheduled. So Abby has scheduled homework help sessions where kids can sign up to receive tutoring in half-hour sessions, and they can do that either online over Zoom or they can actually come to the library. Social distancing will be enforced, masks will be worn, but they can actually receive help from her directly. Like I said, she's also doing the virtual story times, which is very cool. And she's scheduled science classes and art classes for kids. She just did a science forms program on Saturday where she had 6 kids come and they all made Play-Doh. And she told me a great story about how when the class first started, she asked the kids what they thought chemistry was, and there was kind of some blank looks and everything. And at the end, she asked them what chemistry was, and one kid said, "Chemistry is fun." And she was like, "I did my job." So that's going really well. There's a lot of interest in the programs. We have I think it's like 8 or 9 kids signed up for the art program. We have more kids signed up for the next science program. So there's a lot of positive response from that. Terry for the teens is creating take and make art kits. And we think this is going to become a monthly program. The first month for September is the teens can pick up a art canvas, which we had already. And then we got paint sets for them, and they can paint something. The theme this month is transitions and changes, so they can paint something related to that. And then we're encouraging them to take a picture or bring their art in, and we're going to display it in the library. And we have 10 teens signed up for that already, which is very exciting. And we're also advertising an online book group for teens. Diana has scheduled a financial literacy series. We're doing a botanical drawing program and a Medicare 101 program, and she's also working on resources for National Voter Registration Day. We're going to have a table outside the library on Voter Registration Day, and we have a volunteer who's interested in helping us, and Diana is going to run it, and they're going to help people register to vote, get absentee ballot applications, and all that fun stuff. So sorry, there's a lot for programming. We're continuing our yoga program with Samantha Free from the Millbrook Yoga, and we have one more meditation program coming up. We are also going to be part of the Great Give Back this year. The Great Give Back is a really cool event. It's a statewide event on October 17th where libraries provide opportunities for patrons to give back to the community. And technically we only have to do one event, but we had a lot of good ideas, so we're going to try and do 3. So I'm currently talking with the village and town to see if we can schedule a town cleanup day, because it's something that people can do kind of by themselves, but also is a really nice way to kind of give back to the community and clean up the town. We're also planning on collecting food for the month of October for the food pantry, and we're going to encourage kids to make cards during the month of October for the Fountains residents. So hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of that as we move into October. Is there any questions on programs?
No, it's great to see so much happening, and it all looks really exciting, and I'm really glad to see this. So
I was putting it on our calendar and website, and I was like, oh my goodness, we are doing so much. But people are responding, so it tells us we're on the right track.
exactly.
So my next topic is new. It's sustainability. So I had a meeting with Casey from Mid-Hudson, and he's the library sustainability coordinator. And one of the things that he helps libraries do is complete the Green Business Certification Program, which is part of the NYLA Sustainability Initiative. NYLA is the New York Library Association. So the Sustainability Initiative is a program that ensures our library is environmentally sound, economically feasible, and socially equitable. And the first portion of the program is the Green Business Certification. It's basically a checklist of requirements we need to meet to get the certification and things that we need to do. So one of the first steps is to put together a group of people involved with the library that will work on the project. And I'd like it to be a mix of staff and board members. So far we have 7 staff members that want to be part of the team, which is pretty cool. And once formed, the team will meet monthly to discuss the progress being made on the checklist. So here's my call for volunteers. If you are interested in being part of the green team, as we're calling it, and working on sustainability, let me know. This is a really cool program. I worked on it at Mid-Hudson, and we attained the certification, which was great. And I think it's super important in this day and age to look at all these things. So like I said, if you're interested in joining, let me know. The staff is super into it. It seems like we have 7 people. So you can either let me know now, or if you want to email me later, that's fine too.
Well, it certainly sounds like a great goal. And so anyone who's interested, let Courtney know. And you said you're right now going to meet once a month. Is that the? Yeah.
Yep, that's the goal.
Okay.
I'm really excited to see this coming back because Stephanie had talked about doing this, and it was sort of, I think, right before she was leaving. And so I was disappointed that we wouldn't, go forward with this, but I'm so glad you're doing it. Thank you.
Yeah, it looked like she had just started it in 2018. I think it was like May 2018. And so we're bringing it back.
Great,
Better
thank
late
you.
than never. And my almost last thing is just an update on Unionville. Restrictions on Unionville patrons have been put in place as of September 1st. We've been providing information to Unionville residents. We have bookmarks, and we've been letting Unionville residents know that they can only check out print materials now. At the last meeting of the Unionville board, they announced their plans to provide Canopy for their patrons, which is a video streaming service that we offer as well. And they're going to also offer e-materials and physical items through Baker and Taylor. However, as of Friday, there was no information on their website about the services, so I'll keep you updated as I learn more.
What's Baker and Taylor?
Baker and Taylor is basically where a ton of libraries buy their books. So it's where we buy books, audiobooks, and you can buy e-resources there too, but we don't use them for that. But it's basically a large library vendor.
Okay.
Some exciting news is that I'm hopeful by early October we're going to be able to go live with a new website. I added a link to my director's report where you can check it out. I've been working with Jillian Murphy from the Cold Spring Library on this. She had to do this as an internship and I jumped on it. So I'm really excited. It looks fantastic and I think it'll be a lot more user-friendly. It looks classy and functional, and I can't wait for it to go live. So I'm really hoping that in early October it'll be out there for the world. And then
Great.
just the end of my report is statistics and meetings and stuff like that. So that's all I have.
Great, thanks, Courtney. So out of her report, we have 3 action items as she lists at the top of her report. So I would like to go back to the issue of the sick leave. Does anybody have any, I know she asked already, but does anybody have any other questions, clarifying questions, or any concerns about this? Or shall we go ahead and make a motion to approve the sick leave for pages as per the New York State law that is going to go into effect? Okay, is there a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
And second? Sarah, okay. And all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed to the sick leave? No, all right, so the sick leave passes. And also to just approve the hiring of Grace McCormick as the new clerk as of September 14th. A motion to approve her hiring. Carrie, and second? And all in favor? Any opposed? No. All right, so we approved Grace's hiring. And we have, as Courtney mentioned, she sent around the annual report to the community. If anyone has any comments or questions about it, if everyone had a chance to take a look at it. If there's no comments or questions, then we'd like to just make a motion to approve the annual report to the community that Courtney will send out. Motion? Carrie, second. Michael, all in favor? All right, no opposed. All right, so
It looks great, Courtney.
yeah, I
Thank
like.
you.
Yeah, you did a great job.
I have to admit, I used a template from a couple years ago, but it was a good template. So
Great. All right, we got those items done. Is there anything else, Courtney, that you want to mention, or anyone else have any questions for Courtney?
I am good.
All right. The only, well, there's committee reports. I don't know if any of the committees have any reports to present tonight, but I'll just run down the list just in case. Buildings
Can
and
I just ask
grounds.
Courtney one more question?
Of course.
I wrote it down before so I wouldn't forget, and then I forgot. What are we doing about don't we usually do an annual appeal in the fall? And maybe you guys already talked about it. I missed a meeting.
We have not talked about that. If that's something that we want to do, I can definitely look into doing that.
We usually do it twice a year, right? Spring and fall.
Okay.
Right, and obviously we didn't do it this spring, so yeah, we could. It'd be worth, I think, exploring how we would do that. What we should do.
Other annual appeals that I've worked on have gone out with the newsletter, just so that there's something else in there besides just a request for money. So,
Okay.
and I know when Joan and I worked on one, I think it was right when Kirsten was starting. I think we were helping out just to get Stephanie was leaving, and we kind of filled in the gaps there. We ended up having the annual appeal look a little bit like a newsletter. So I don't know if that's something, if that is going to go out, maybe they should get sent out instead of just emailed.
Okay, so just to make sure I get it right. So for the annual report to the community, I was planning on printing those and mailing those. And then I can look at, for the annual appeal in the fall, I can look at like adding something in there as well to also be sent out at the same time. So that way, like, they're getting both the annual report and the annual appeal at the same time. Would
The
that
only
work?
thing is that the annual appeal letter usually has a lot of the same information that your annual report will have.
Ah, okay. So I don't, because I know we are required by New York State as a public library to send out an annual report to the community every year. So I can't not do that. But maybe there's some way to kind of rework the annual appeal to talk more, because I think the annual report is more about like what we did last year in 2019. And I feel like we can make the annual appeal in the fall be more focused on what we're doing in the future, because I didn't really get a chance to talk about in the annual report about all the programs and stuff we're doing and the new way the library functions. So maybe that would work if, since the annual report is more in the past, the annual appeal could be more focused on the future.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay,
And
I will
then-
look into that.
And then it will all be like mailed like separately, or is it all something that comes together, or how's that? I mean, not that we have an answer right now, but is it just separate
I
thing?
will look into seeing how it was done in the past, and I'll see if there's a way that I can put them together, just to save on postage. I think that would be nice, but I'll do more research.
Thanks, Courtney.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to run down the committees and see if anyone has anything to report. Building and grounds?
No, I had to circle around because the engineers kind of, with the whole COVID, didn't quite respond to all the questions I gave them in terms of the ventilation system we've been talking about for the HVAC.
Right.
So I kind of, that kind of got scattered all over the place. So I got some numbers, and there's a couple of open questions that never came back to me. So I got to circle back to the MEP engineers. And Courtney, you could tell me, you're saying the mechanical system, you're having issues there with the units?
Yeah, our air conditioning hasn't been working in the nonfiction room and down in the children's room.
Okay, and you've been reaching out to Austin, who's been
Yeah.
servicing them?
Yeah, we had an appointment scheduled for last Wednesday, and he just didn't come. And I've been calling and no answer. So we really need to get it fixed. So I was thinking of looking at other places at this point.
Okay, so I mean, I work with Austin on other projects, so I can like hammer them.
That would be. I just needed to get done.
Yeah, because there's no. Yeah, that's not excusable for him to. Because otherwise, I'm gonna be. I'd recommend if he does not do it, I'd recommend like American Heating and Cooling, which is a much better company than. It's really set up for a building like the library, as opposed to Austin, who's more of a residential HVAC guy.
Yeah, I mean, and Austin is fantastic too. Like he's
a very nice guy.
Yeah, he's
But
been in
he does
here
do
and-
this to us too.
I think he's very busy.
Right. But yeah, so the other company that's is American Heating and Cooling, and I can send you, their contact information too if Austin doesn't step forward.
All right, that would be great.
Yep. And then two, I'm trying to think. There was somebody that was gonna go there and do a cost estimate for the some of the other repairs for the fresh air, but that never happened either. So I'll circle around with that part too.
Okay, thanks, Michael.
Sure.
And development, fundraising, friends, anything we want to touch on there or anything to report?
I just know that they're moving forward with the foyer, but I don't want to, take their fire, because I know they want to attend our meeting next time and hopefully have things by then planned. So I'm a little bit in the loop, but I don't think I want to take the excitement away from them to share. But cool things coming.
And I don't have anything for long range planning at this point. Does nominating have anything they want to report this evening? And nothing for personnel. We just approved the hire of Grace, and nothing for policy. So I don't have anything else on my agenda. Does anyone have any other business or any other questions? Anything else that we need to discuss tonight? I just want to say I'm sorry about the meeting mess up, the date. And I will look at this. It says Tuesday, October 20th. I'm going to mark my calendar correctly, is our next meeting. So hearing no other business, then I would make a motion to adjourn our meeting. Is there accepting? Cecilia and Michael second. All right, guys, thank you so much for the meeting and everything we got done tonight.
Thank you.
This was great. Thank you for being efficient. Thanks, Courtney, for everything. And congratulations on your marriage. That was very
Thank you.
exciting about. Like, so many things happening. That's very, very exciting. So congratulations.
Yeah, Courtney, thank you. Your report was great. I love the graph and everything was just laid out so conveniently, and it really helps me with my minutes because I can just go back to your reports, and it's been really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jody.
Good night.
Bye.
Oh, Jody.
Bye.
Oh, I'll text you. Never mind.
Okay.